In part 2 of my dining room makeover, we assembled the new dining table that goes so well with the new chairs, and we also painted the room to give it a dark and moody vibe. We also took a trip to the consignment store and picked up a couple of decor pieces for the space. Now we're ready to start on part 3 of my dining room makeover. For part 3 of my dining room makeover, I'm going to be styling my Tommy Bahama display case. I picked this display case up a few years ago for $200. The original retail price was, wait for it, $5,000. I want to style the shelves with some neutral vases because I don't want whatever is in the display case to compete with what I'm going to be doing with the rest of the dining room. So I thought we would jump on Pottery Barn's website to look at their vases and to see, the prices and how much it'll cost to style the Tommy Bahama. Neutral vases. What? Okay, they've got to have some cheaper ones. Seriously? Let's try West Elm. Neutral vases. Okay, West Elm done lost their mind. I'm not a big fan of Hobby Lobby, but we're going to try and just see how much their vases are. $39 for a vase at Hobby no. All these places have lost their minds, so that only leaves me with one choice. We're going to have to DIY the look for less. Whenever I search for items at the thrift store to transform into something that's more my style, I don't look at the item in its current state, but how it could look. I did, however, look for vases, vessels, and pots that had little to no raised detail on them, and that was due to the fact that I didn't want a design to show through any paint that I was going to be applying to that item. I found a couple of vases during my trip to the thrift to use for this project, along with using a few I already had in my home decor hoarder stash. I also like using supplies I already have on hand, so I'm using some primer and paint left over from previous projects. I was going to use some sanded grout to mix in with the paint, but it had hardened rock solid, so instead I used some baking soda. After I cleaned each of the vases, I applied some primer to them. Now, using spray primer would have been a lot easier, but once again, I like to use supplies I already have on hand. This video is part of the Look for Less challenge hosted by Yami at the Latina Next Door. I urge you to check out the Look for Less playlist after you watch this video. I'll leave a link to Yami's channel along with a playlist in my description box. Once the vases were dry, I took some paint samples I used when trying to decide the color I wanted to paint the dining room and added some baking soda to give the vases just a little bit of texture. The baking soda doesn't give the paint a huge amount of texture, so if you want a thicker textured paint, I would suggest using some playground sand to mix in with the paint.
One step forward, 2 steps backwards, yeah. Immature lover who don't use big words, yeah. I don't need convincing at all because I know what I want. Baby, can't you figure it out? What's going on in your heart? What's it gonna take for you to love, take for you to love me? Gonna take for you to show, take for you to show feels, yeah. I've been trying to take it slow, but my patience low. Think it's time you let me know. What's it gonna take for you to love, take for you to love me?
The neutral shades and tones of these vases look incredible. Along with these vases, I'm also using a vessel I DIY'd a while back and some wooden accents to style the display case. This is a good base for me when it comes to styling display case. I don't want to overrun it with items, but I do see that I will be adding just a couple more pieces in the future.
Got me up all night, putting things on the side. What do you have in mind? She's awake all the time. What are you trying to find? I hope this ain't a lie. Cause I'm vibing with all we have. Yeah, I'm feeling what we are now. I'm laying down on the ground. All I do is thinking out loud. Yeah, I'm vibing with all we have. I'm feeling what we are now. All I do is thinking out loud. Cause I'm running with these emotions, stumbling out of bed. One hell of a roller coaster. You're messing with my head. I'm ending up so clueless. What are you trying to find? I'm running with these emotions. Tell me, what do you have in mind? Tell me, what do you have in mind? I put my heart on the line through our phone in the night. No, I'm here by your side. So tell me, where are you now? When your head is in the clouds, I wanna find out now. Cause I'm vibing with all we have. Yeah, I'm feeling what we are now. I'm laying down on the ground. All I do is thinking out loud. Yeah, I'm vibing with all we have. I'm feeling what we are now. All I do is thinking out loud. Cause I'm running with these emotions, stumbling out of bed. One hell of a roller.
Let's do the breakdown to see how much I spent on this entire project. For all the vases, I spent roughly $15. For the supplies, I already had all the paint on hand, and I only spent $5 at the $1.25 tree for some paintbrushes, which gives me a grand total of $20 for all the vases that I DIY'd. Now let's add up how much this would have cost if I would have purchased these from Pottery Barn, West Elm, and Hobby Lobby. So 25, 27, carry the 5. You know what? I'm no mathlete, but I think it's safe to say that I saved hundreds on this project by getting the look for a whole lot less. If you want to see part 1 and part 2 of my dining room makeover, I'll leave the playlist right here. Don't forget to check out Yami over at the Latina Next Door. I will leave a link to her channel and the playlist in the description box. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you at the next one.